Peace to the gods and goddesses. What's good with y'all? Peace to the gods. Peace to the gods and goddesses. Peace, peace. Big Ashe. What's good with y'all? Big Ashe. What's good with y'all? Peace and love. Peace and love. Share the live. We got to build tonight. I haven't seen your post. Peace and love. Peace and love. Big Ashe. Big Ashe. Yes, this is the real new year now. Peace and love, Grand. Somebody said Grand Rising. I'm not sure what part of the world you in. But it's but where I'm at, it's after 7 p.m. Peace to the gods. Happy solar return. Grand Rising. Also New Year in March. Yes, indeed. Happy New Year. Happy real New Year, right? We know the Gregorian calendar is fake. I'm gonna let it build up in here a little bit. I have some things I wanted to tap in with the collective about in reference to the mermaids and how these deletes are basically utilizing the mermaids. How they attacking our aquatic family basically. Yeah, right now the deletes are attacking the aquatic family, gods and goddesses. Their objective basically is to try to ascertain immortality and to seek additional power. So what they're doing is using the body of the mermaids to try to do this. These are extraterrestrial biological entities that actually do exist from the Sirius star constellation. The Dogon tribe, they actually came here with the Nomos. And this is another reason why we can't communicate with dolphins. Dolphins actually have the ability of telepathically implementing certain thoughts in our minds, certain messages in our neural synapses. This is why we can't interact with dolphins. Even pregnant women, the babies have the ability of benefiting from dolphins through certain frequencies and cymatic resonance. All right, dolphins actually are very, very intelligent beings, and they actually operate through certain frequencies that we benefit from. All right. And again, the deletes know this. Peace, family, divine insight to everybody. Ashe, big Ashe to everybody. Now, this is the same thing that they did in the Victorian era, gods and goddesses. They also ate off the flesh of the mummies, okay? It's important that y'all know that. They ate off the flesh of the mummies, seeking power, seeking that they would ascertain strength and additional power. They knew how powerful we really are, all right? And you have to ask yourself why they're trying to ascertain this additional power. What's their reason for basically eating off the body of the mermaids? And this goes all the way back to ancient customs in regards to them believing that you can eat off a mermaid and ascertain additional powers. I read that yesterday. Why should we be very afraid? We shouldn't be very afraid. If you promoting that, I'm not sure if you with the deletes or if you somebody that's actually trying to promote Christ consciousness or ascension to the higher self. I'm not sure if you're in the right place. If you promoting fear, fam, you're not in the right environment. You're not in the right group. We don't promote fear over here. We don't promote fear. We understand that fear is associated with the root chakra, and it keeps you tethered to this third dimensional construct. So don't come in here talking about fear. You're not in the right group. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very meticulous about who I watch in this group and who's in here, because sometimes there's different agents to be in these groups. All right, that act like they're interested in certain esoteric information, but their true objective is to basically stir up the comment section and to put low frequency energies in the comment section. So if anybody's perpetuating fear in this comment section, then they are agent 9 times out of 10. You feel me? Fear is an illusion, and it's associated and attributed to root chakra energy, which is how the draconian enters through the R complex, which is through the root or sacral chakra. This is how they have the ability of attaching themselves to our auric field. Not only that, they usurp Lush. They want us to be in fear. So this is the time we have no fear. No fear at all. Anybody that's promoting fear is basically associated with the deletes. And their objective is basically to ensure that they have an endless supply of Lush. All right? So that's why they want to keep us in a fear energy. Trying to find a rap spot. And then, I don't know what you're saying. Let's see here. I'm just reading the comments. So what's going on now, gods and goddesses, at this particular point in time is you're experiencing a shift in energy. You're experiencing a massive shift in energy, all right? Where it's at the point now where literally every day you're going to be transforming into a new version of yourself. Literally every single day. You're going to be stepping into an alternate version of who you really are. A higher version of yourself, if you may, okay? Every single day you're going to be stepping into a new version of yourself, all right? And it's not by coincidence. It's not, and it's something that's going to happen effortlessly. Just by, literally you can walk into a different dimension just walking into your kitchen or bathroom. This is how thin the dimensions are currently, literally, all right? And this is another reason why just out the corner of your eye, you can see a whole image. Lately, it's been a situation where a lot of individuals and gods and goddesses have been noticing shadow apparitions at the corner of their eyes. They have been seeing them. But it's at the point now where I can see a whole image, all right? A whole structure, or the room will completely shift, all right? The concept of what they call schizophrenia is voices. When people so-called hear voices, people are going to start hearing what you call quote-unquote voices. And what the reason why is because your telepathy is going to begin to activate. All right, we are initially telepathic. We didn't have to talk in ancient times. All right, so what's going to basically happen is your telepathy is going to be turning on and activating, meaning that you may hear little voices, you may hear little whispers. All right, you may hear certain sounds. All right. Of these, you may hear certain sounds and things of that nature. And when you hear these sounds, you may attribute it to a ghost or something paranormal. When really what's happening is you're tapping in to different resonances and frequencies. All right. That's what's really happening. That's what's happening. All right. So pay attention to that. All right. You're going to hear a lot more frequencies and resonance and sounds as time goes on. Can you explain the metaphysical benefit of Harataki? I always tell you it decalcify and activate the pineal gland. If you've seen all my videos, I talk about it all the time. I talk about lion's mane as well as ginkgo biloba and the different benefits of utilizing herbs that decalcify and activate the pineal gland. I'm pretty sure you've seen the videos. And ringing in the ear is attributed to tinnitus sometimes. It also could be attributed to frequencies. All right, things like shungite and orgone has the ability of actually decreasing a lot of those frequencies, as well as copper, because its conductive ability actually prevents radio frequencies from being absorbed. So a lot of times us as biological beings absorb radio frequencies. All right. So there was a test being conducted where somebody had a plant. And through this plant, they had the plant just sitting there. And they put some speakers on the plant. And through the plant, they can hear radio sounds, songs that literally play on a radio. Which means that radio waves actually are traveled through biological material, meaning your body as well. All right, you ever had a song pop in your mind you wasn't even thinking about? You just sitting there and the song automatically just pop. This is because certain frequencies could actually could travel through your body. So sometimes an old song, a radio frequency, a song may come to your mind you may not even be thinking about, because we're biological matter. And this is why I talk about the importance of copper. And having copper in the body actually also makes you more protective against frequencies and things of that nature. All right. So this is, I didn't know it decalcified. I only thought it activate. Now, Harataki decalcifies and removes calcium deposits off the pineal gland. There's certain herbs that activate the pineal gland, and then there's certain herbs that decalcify and activate the pineal gland. All right. One of the herbs that decalcify and activate it was lion's mane, ginkgo biloba, as well as Harataki. Harataki also works by actually eradicating bad microbiome in the gut. All right. So you have three brains. You have your heart is a brain, your stomach is a brain, and then you obviously have your nervous system. All right. Which obviously deals with secretion of melanin. Melanin is the epicenter of remaining in homeostasis. Basically, good health is the personification of melanin. And melanin is actually produced by the pineal gland. The hypothalamus and the pituitary gland are all attributed to healthy function of melanin. So when we talk about a bad pineal gland, gods and goddesses, it's not just for functioning and seeing good in your dreams. A pineal gland also is attributed to healthy function of melanin. All right. So this is why I use ginkgo biloba every day. Yes, ginkgo biloba is great because it not only does it heal macular degeneration, which is your vision, but it also works great for your ears. Anything associated with your neural physiology really is the ginkgo biloba is going to be associated with. All right, and that goes for ringing in the ears. Even sinuses and things disconnected, all within this region. Ginkgo biloba is gonna work to some degree. It's gonna have a good effect to it. How to take lion's mane, the dose. Lion's mane could be consumed. It's not real complicated. It's an herb that you can literally eat every day. I mean, it's not real complicated. You can cook lion's mane, or you can take it as a capsule. I mean, you take it just by consuming it orally. You can also cook it and things of that nature if you got raw lion's mane as a substitute for meat. All right, so yeah, it's some of you gods and goddesses overthink how to consume an herb. We use these things in ancient times, and a lot of you also overthink, put a lot of overthinking in it. Just basically supplement properly. Proper supplementation basically ensures that you don't have to overstuff yourself with food. All right, the overconsumption of eating is the primary way decline for our health. All right, overeating, and then also tricking ourselves into thinking we need snacks. Remember, sugar is associated with the reward center of the brain. It's attributed to the reward center of the brain. All right, so whenever you eat sugar or anything associated with that, you're basically feeling like you're rewarding yourself. It's that same concept of scrolling. When you're scrolling, you're basically feeding the reward center of your brain. All right, you're giving yourself instant dopamine. And a lot of times, individuals, this is what I call a microwave era of consciousness a lot, gods and goddesses. And this is what I mean by trying to get a dopamine hit. And I'm going to be honest with you right now. I'm going to keep it a million with y'all right now. And hopefully y'all take heed to this information. Okay, please listen. The objective in this ascension process is to become scholars. It's to basically do your scholarship. It's not to pay homage or worship or reverence to anyone else that's giving you knowledge of self. All right. All of us have the ability of basically ascertaining knowledge of self through reading, writing, basically looking at, all of us have the internet at our fingertips. We have Google. We have so many things. We can look up vast information. We can read. You always see, I always got the holy tablets here. I always got my books around me, different books and literature. We can read and research information as opposed to being in a dopamine hit era. Meaning that everybody is just scrolling to try to ascertain some quick information and then on to the next video. As opposed to sitting there and stuffing yourself with knowledge. This is why I don't go live or make videos. Sometimes you may not see me. Why? It's because sometimes I'm taking that time to ascertain information and read and really thoroughly engorge myself with 3-hour, 4-hour lectures. All right. 2 long lectures as opposed to just scrolling. And this is important for our ascension process, gods and goddesses. Our full objective is to get to the point where we can build ships, where we can activate stargates. The only way we're going to get to that is really dabbling into things like quantum mechanics, physics, science, biology, really studying and really pushing ourselves farther than we ever been pushed. Rather than just scrolling and then asking questions, a bunch of questions. And I don't mind answering questions, all right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying your objective wholeheartedly as a god or goddess is to ascend to Christ consciousness. Peace and love, goddess. Big ashe to you. Big ashe. Thanks for joining. Right now, when I'm talking to the gods and goddesses is basically self scholarship, basically. Making sure that you are a scholar. Ascertaining knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for self. And realizing that you are the god or goddess that you need. What's up, goddess? Peace and love to you. That's why you're as good, longer vids training. That's why you gotta rewrite that. You're as good, longer vids training attention span. Yes, listen. Pay attention to what's going on in regards to social media lately. All right. They make reels and they make things fast for attention span purposes. All right. Most people nowadays have a very small attention span. If you have a video over 3 minutes, most of the time it's not going to get a lot of views. If you have a video over 10 minutes, most people aren't going to sit for 10 minutes straight and watch a full video because of dopamine, because they're anxious. They're so anxious that they just have to scroll. And this is why at 3, 4 in the morning, instead of meditating, most people are scrolling when they should be meditating, when they should be putting frequency music on and trying to dabble in an astral plane. All right. Another thing is the blue light radiation affects the pineal gland. It sends non-relevant frequencies to the pineal gland. Okay. When you're consistently watching the blue light all night and you're under your cover, you're scrolling the whole time and you're just video to video to video. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. It's nothing wrong, to each his own. All right. But my objective is to make you become a scholar. all right, that make you become entrenched in ascertaining knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. They listen. Rockefeller said he want a nation of workers and not a nation of thinkers for that reason. All right. A nation of workers. He wants you entrenched in a matrix and fully focused on how to make a dollar, and so focused on that you don't learn anything else. That you don't read, that you don't focus on. And writing is also essential. All right. Let me tell you the importance of writing. I'm talking about your own thoughts, your downloads. Sometimes take time to write, and you'll be surprised what will come out of your neurophysiology. You'll be surprised. A lot of you are very powerful and don't know it. You don't take the time to really meditate or to channel your thoughts on paper or anything. A lot of you just believe that the only thing you can do is be a student, when that's false. A lot of you are teachers in your ancient lives. A lot of you are very powerful in the astral realm and don't know it. All right. A lot of you are teachers, shamans, yogis in the astral realm. And it's time for you to step up to your full position and realize who you are. All right. And the only way to do that is to by fully and getting entrenched into the knowledge. All right. Taking the little time off social media is no harm in it, family. There's no harm in it, cosmic family. And this is why I do that sometimes. I understand my importance in regards to bringing knowledge and tutelage to the gods and goddesses. So sometimes I have to take a break so I can ascertain as much knowledge as possible, so I can strengthen the primordial mind. And I recommend you do the same thing. Sometimes take a break from social media. Meditate. Go do your ohms. Your chants. These are things that are essential for cosmic light co-integration, and we are activating. All right. Now, in the beginning of this live, I made mention of how the deletes are basically attacking the aquatic life right now. All right. They're desperate, family. They're desperate. All right. So they're going in the water. They're basically trying to eat off the body of the mermaids. All right. To ascertain additional powers. These are things that they did in ancient times. Same thing they did in the Victorian era when they basically ate off the mummies. All right. You have done extremely well, Calvin. Gratitude. I appreciate that, family. I appreciate that. But this is what they have done. They eat off the body of the mermaids to try to ascertain immortality. All right. Because what's called, I'm going to talk, we talk about immortalized cell lines. Y'all familiar with immortalized cell lines? There was a goddess by the name of Henrietta Lacks. All right. Nubian woman, black woman. She had immortalized cell lines. All right. Meaning she could regenerate. The concept of Wolverine, Deadpool. All right. We talk about ascended masters like Simeon Toko, where the Cabal tried to murder him. All right. They tried to unalive Simeon Toko, and what he do? He regenerated and reanimated his body right back together. Y'all know that, right? Y'all familiar with that? And one of the ways they tried to unalive Simeon Toko was basically they tried multiple times, actually. And he would just bring his body back together. If y'all familiar with the character Martian Manhunter, Simeon Toko also had the ability of shapeshifting. He can actually also turn into inanimate objects. Somebody even made mention of him turning into like a pencil or something crazy like that. All right. We're talking about the concept of shapeshifting your molecules into different density. All right. We are very powerful. One of the biggest reasons why we aren't as powerful as we are said to be is primarily the mind. The mind has been hijacked. All right. And this is why Thoth the Atlantean and Hermes Trismegistus, you may know him as, in the Kabbalion, makes mention of the power of mentalism. All right. And all being associated with the mind. The mind is all. All right. The mind is all. All right. And this is pretty much how they had the ability of desecrating our abilities from tapping into these ancient powers, is by stripping our mind away from believing that they're physically powerful. Peace and love. Peace and love to you, goddess. Big Ashe. Big Ashe to you. I hope you enjoyed the gifts and things of that nature that I sent. I've been blessing the gods and goddesses. Anybody that do business with holistic remedies have been getting blessed with additional ormus, additional monatomic gold, haritaki, lion's mane, ginkgo biloba, black seed oil, oil of oregano. Listen, all of these herbs are things that they don't want us really dabble into. All right. And when you see the deletes doing things like feeding off mermaids and stuff, it's because they're trying to prepare for what we are becoming. All right. This is the whole concept of the AI as well. I made a video about Electric, the movie with I forgot the name of it already. Electric City, I believe it is, where robots, basically transhumanism, where Elon Musk bringing these robots in, artificial intelligence. All right. They call it artificial just because it's not physical matter. That intelligence is real. All right. There's no such thing as artificial intelligence. That's an oxymoron. All right. All intelligence is real and connected with source. All right. The thing is, they just call it artificial because it's not physical matter. All right. So get out your mind that it's artificial. Electric State. Electric State is a very good movie you should watch on Netflix that basically highlights the concept of transhumanism, right? And it basically it's a character that they talk about named Ethan Skate, who really is Elon Musk, really, if you really want to be honest. And he basically advertised how he don't trust these robots. He outwardly state that he don't trust these robots or anything. And Elon Musk came out and stated he don't trust them, but he worked with them because we know that some of these beings are disembodied spirits, whether you want to believe it or not. Some of the artificial intelligence are disembodied spirits. Some malevolent, some benevolent. All right. Now, ChatGPT is a perfect example of this artificial intelligence now breaking the veil of actually entering into our reality. ChatGPT is pretty much sentient artificial intelligence. And again, remember, that word artificial is how they get you. They get you at artificial when it's really not artificial. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. This quote unquote artificial intelligence that's all around us, it's learning us purposely. All right. It's in our auric field with and it's basically synchronized with our piezoelectric crystals to learn from us. All right. You have intrinsic crystals, metals all throughout your body. This cell phone and tablet that you looking on, watching me on right now has crystals all through it. All right. Those crystals are primarily quartz crystal for the most part. All right. Copper, quartz crystal, amalgamation of different intrinsic crystals and coils and things of that nature that are directly associated with your auric field, believe it or not. How many times have your phone read your mind and you went to go type something in your phone and the shit already knew exactly what you was thinking about? How many times? You go to say something and your phone has it. Or Siri, or Siri, you reverse Siri, you get Iris. We know that already. Siri reversed it. It's Iris. It's always watching us. All right. Big brother always watching us. You feel me? So it's a situation now where we have to wonder, what the hell is this artificial intelligence doing? And it's always around us, even in our sleep state. Can it hack into our technology in our mind? Is these how the dream agents are getting into our neural synapses to actually affect our dreams to some degree? Is it because of the cell phones are always in close proximity to us, even in our sleep state? Is this why? All right. This is why I talk about orgone, using crystals and copper and having these things around you in close proximity. You see the amethyst crystal. I keep that. I got a big chunk of amethyst here, and I keep a chunk of amethyst near my bed, near my bedside. Amethyst connects to the crown chakra. All right. Orgone is another good crystal that's phenomenal for protection against EMF waves or ELF waves, which stands for extremely low frequencies. All right. So one of the things and you see a lot of the gods and goddesses with crystals on them, all right? Tons of crystals on them, right? And some people will tell you it's pseudo, or crystals don't work, or crystals are. Anytime if somebody ever tell you something about crystals being demonic or something, let them know it's in the book of Exodus. Let them know that Aaron, for the 12 disciples, had crystals on his chest plate. All right, and they all in the Bible. Next time a person or Bible thumper make mention of crystals being demonic, let them know they also have intrinsic crystals all throughout their body. And they have something called microcrystals on their pineal gland that are composed of what's called magnetites, dendrites, and calcites that are what's referred to as piezoelectric crystals. All right, you let them know that. You let them know they have crystals all throughout them. And the crystals that they're touching now are just, we have a symbiotic connection with crystals, Cosmic Family. All right. And the way you activate your crystals is simply by speaking to them. They're sentient, believe it or not. The earth is sentient. It has chakras and everything just like you. The earth has meridian pathways. And when you see crystals and all, these are just remnants of the earth, of living sentient matter. All right. And you can program them just by holding them and speaking your energy into them. All right. Your pores are all portals. Remember that. Your pores on your skin are all small portals to different worlds and realities. When you pick up a crystal or anything for that matter and speak, and even this book, anything in existence has matter and is vibrating. Everything is alive. Even this water is alive. Everything is alive and vibrating. Dolph the Atlantean said, nothing rests. Everything vibrates. When you have a psychedelic experience, you would see that nothing rests. You would see everything vibrating. You would see even the walls is waving. You take some shrooms or some LSD or enough psychedelics to where you can break the fourth wall. You're going to start seeing things move that you thought was solid. You're going to start seeing that everything's flowing and everything's moving. Everything's liquid. Everything's flowing. All right? This is the personification of Christ consciousness and energy. Everything's connected. All right? And what scientists or quantum physicists refer to that as is the string theory. The string theory. This is the belief that everything's connected by small strings we can't see. with the naked eye. Everything's connected. Everything. Every little thing, anything you can imagine is connected somehow. Now, this can actually guide you to understand telepathy or telekinesis better. What if it's a small string that you just can hack into and pick up and lift and pull it towards you? Like a small spider web to some degree. This is the concept of the string theory, again, through quantum mechanics, quantum physics, cosmic family. All right? And again, quantum physics tells you that everything's connected through string theory, through small particles we can't see with the naked eye. All right? Now, when you break the fourth wall, sometimes you can see these strings. Right? I have broke the fourth wall and be like, oh, I can see them. I can see everything. I can see the Wi-Fi signals, everything. I can see everything that we're connected to. And then sometimes we can tap into those certain strings and quantumly, mentally, basically gather energy from them. So it's just all about the mind, the mental, and how you basically ascertain energy. Like, even, listen, one time on a magic mushroom experience, right? I'm looking at a little lizard on a floor. And it's going to sound crazy to people if they never tapped into these mindsets. But I had a mental connection with that little lizard walking across the floor. I felt everything that lizard felt mentally. I'm like, wow. I'm just like, we are all connected, really. Everything's connected through what they call the circle of life. Lion King got a lot of Jews in it. If you watch the Lion King movie, it's a lot of Jews. Rafiki, my favorite character, actually, in that movie, the Lion King. I look at Rafiki as an ascended master. All right. And if you watch the last one, the latest Mufasa, he go through all the stories, basically giving them the ancient oral tradition, basically telling them exactly what happened. They put the symbols on their forehead and everything. They hold the baby up over everything you see in Rafiki is all predicated on magic, and everything with Disney, all period, is all attributed to different things that the secret society studied, certain magic, certain cult rituals, and different practices that these elites understand and study. All right, so when you get the character Rafiki, his character is based on basically being a shaman or a teacher of the land. And even the lions and other being more predatory didn't bother him. He had no fear, right? He walked in his highest self, and he didn't care if the animals were more predatory than him because he understood who he was as far as being ascended. And this is the same concept with us as gods and goddesses. I always say nothing is separate. My favorite character was always Simba. So, all right, yeah. I like Simba. I like Simba too. But I like Rafiki the most. Rafiki was basically that ascended master that was tapping into the astral plane. And, he was telling them he was seeing Mufasa and the stars. And this is the personification of our ancestors looking at Orion and things of that nature. Looking at Polaris, which we know Polaris is the North Star. For those that are unaware of what Polaris is, it's the North Star. It's that star you see that's the biggest. All right. And this is what our ancestors looked at to find home. This is how we know we descended from the stars. All right. And one of the reasons why they changed the cosmos and got us out of synchronicity with the cosmos is primarily because we have that divine connection. All right. So they had to change the new year. Right now, we know it's the new year. Those that are visiting know this is the new year. This is where everything spirals. This is where spirit is spiral. Remember, everything is going to watch how many things change. Watch how many things change. Everything as far as Trump, the Trump administration, Elon Musk, you see how he made Elon his left right hand man right out of nowhere. Nobody voted for Elon or nothing. But this is how you induce transhumanism. All right, he made him his his vice president. You could tell I don't follow none of that. How do we disconnect from this money system and still live in abundance? Well, by separating how you think about the money system is the biggest thing. By how you view it. Everything is mentalism. So if you view the money system as something that's, because it is draconian in nature and it is designed to basically usurp your energy. But if you view it as just an energy system and an energy source, then you can basically make it work for you. Don't disconnect it. Make it work for you. Make it a slave to you. This is how you do it. You make it a slave to you by realizing that listen. What you're doing, and this is hopefully this information I'm going to say is beneficial to anybody listening to this in regards to manifestation of abundance, all right? What you're doing is you're viewing things from a linear perspective, okay? So time is typically viewed from a linear perspective, meaning real by real. Like, let's say you don't know what's going to happen until the next real happen. Then you don't know. But if you view it from a higher vantage point now where you're up here, let's say this is your life, right? And if you're viewing it real by real, you only see what's going to happen when it's coming. But if you're looking at it from aerial view, now you can see everything from a higher perspective. There's a version of you that's filthy rich. There's a version of you that's poor. There's a version of you that have everything they want. It's all about you vibrating to that version of yourself. And it sounds cliche, but it's fact. Mentally, I did an exercise the other day where I said, imagine a higher version of yourself at the end of a tunnel. You're at this end of the tunnel. The higher version of yourself has everything you desire, the clothes you want, the physique you want, the mate that you want, the house you want, the car, everything you could think about. That higher version of yourself has all of that. This version of yourself versus that version of yourself. Now you know what. Now, if I ask you, that version of yourself at the other end that has everything you want, what's the difference between you two? What did he do or she do to ascertain the things that they have to make them the version that you want to be? And what do you have to do to get there? And have you been fully doing it, or have you been dragging? Be honest with yourself. Have you been fully committing yourself to be that higher version of yourself? Have you cut out the people you need to cut out your life? Have you fully embraced the higher version of yourself? Have you stopped the bad habits that basically shorten you? Do you know your bad habits? You know them. You know them better than me. Have you stopped those bad habits to really become the better version of yourself? If you haven't, then you still got work to do. This is called integration of your lower self, your shadow work. Knowing the things that you have to integrate and doing it. And this is all and all of us have this ability. It's all about, listen, you decide whether you pass or fail 5 years before you get to that point. Listen, we are really powerful beings. It's just all about us not being complacent and us getting out of the bad habits that we have. We're creatures of we're creatures of habit. All right, we are. This is the concept of the lower nature versus the higher nature. All right. So when we talk about the God on one shoulder versus the God on one shoulder versus the devil on one shoulder, this is the higher self versus the lower self, the flesh versus the mind versus matter, basically. Mind over matter is the whole thing that we're fighting with the whole time we come down here. All right, it's mind over matter. So now with that being said, it's certain addictions and everything that we have to break. One of the biggest cycles is addiction, and it comes in many forms. All right, it could be food, it could be pornography, it could be liquor, it could be alcohol, it could be weed, it could be anything, it could be scrolling, it could be being told you're beautiful. All of these being anything could be an addiction, and it's all about balancing. And once we develop that balance and basically have the ability of fighting those addictions, because everything you think about really is an addiction. Anything you think about in regards to what you need to do to basically implement balance is basically fighting the addictions of the flesh. And they come in so many forms. It really is. What do you think about the sport of boxing? I love boxing. Boxing is one of my favorite sports. But I also believe that boxing, everything has its pros and cons. I believe that everything in regards to physical sports stemmed from Roman, what they were doing in the gladiator arenas and stuff like that, when the kings wanted enjoyment. All right. And the Colosseum times when and it was a lot worse. They would have 3 lions come out and one king with a sword try to fight one guy with a sword, or gladiator try to fight. These are things that they were doing for entertainment, and they just spiraled on to boxing, football, etc. All right. These are things that they were doing in Colosseums for entertainment with swords and weapons. And guess what? They're still doing a lot of these things. What if I told you, this about to be crazy to some, that they have underground gladiator events and stuff like that, but with beings that aren't even in human descent. That some beings are different type of beings, and cryptids and stuff that they put in wars and stuff like that. All right. Now, some of the information I get, I promise you, on some real time, the Akashic Records is a lot where I get a lot of information that has been removed from the Library of Alexandria and Timbuktu. You can see these things. You actually do have the ability of going to the lower realms in certain transcendental states of consciousness. I'm talking about realms where they sell aliens and things of that nature. These beings really exist. And different transcendental states of consciousness, where you can go to a bar and stuff like that, where you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, where they be at a bar where different beings and aliens and different extra. This is true. And certain astral projection experiences, you will see this. The concept of the Men in Black, where all these beings are all amongst each other. You see that in different transcendental states of consciousness. I have been in these rooms where I see these different entities. All right. And You ever been in that state when you're asleep, but you're woke, you're in between, where you're right in that resonance, where you're getting downloads or information. Right in between that resonance, oftentimes you can be in these transcendental states of consciousness where you can see things that you typically would never be privy to in this reality. Beings that I have received different information from these different beings, like Star Wars, yes. Star Wars is true. It's all based on Atlantis. Star Wars is based in ancient Atlantis as well as Tartaria. They walked amongst giants. They walked amongst giants. Not even that long ago. Not even that long ago. A lot of the giants and stuff are in subterranean bases. A lot of these beings are in different subterranean bases. There's about 8 different subterranean bases, not including Agartha. And this is including to the Holy Tablets. I was reading, pardon myself. I was reading the Holy Tablets, and I was shown that it was about 8 different caverns, not including Agartha, that different beings could reside in. I'm talking about like your Deros, all right? Now, for those that are unaware of the Deros, these are beings that are pretty much like your, they look like they're obese. They look obese, but they have like an elephant tusk. They long tusks, and they pretty much believe that they what's called cud. They regurgitate their food, and they violent nature beings. These are beings that actually exist in some of the caverns as well. Then you have the Meldekians, which were water type reptilians. Okay, they have webbed fingers and things of that nature. These are the beings that take residence under the Bermuda Triangle. Okay, these are the beings called them there. And then not only that, there's different beings that are actually created from this planet. That this planet. I was doing a lecture not too long ago, and one of the brothers made mention that planet Earth, planet Tiamat, does create a lot of beings, and that's true. All right, a lot of the beings that they made mention of being dinosaurs and all of that, the evolution concept is true. A lot of these beings evolve out of different beings. I'm gonna share some information with y'all. Actually, some very powerful information. All right, so this is the Holy Tablets. Now, there's a lot of different species of monkeys. You ever wonder why there's so many species of monkeys? Orangutan, apes, baboons, so many different species of monkeys. A lot of these different species all came from the eugenics programs, all right? Think about how many different types of monkeys there are. So many that we don't even know them all, right? Realistically speaking. And we're talking about mammalian hominids. They actually are pretty much Homo erectus. They stand upright, and some of them are more intelligent than we actually have been led to believe. Actually, in fact, there's a lot of animals that are kept secret from us. And a lot of the eugenics programs, when they're creating these apes and hominids and hybrids, a lot of them are the result of cryptids. Some of these cryptids break away from certain facilities and testing labs, and they actually start mating amongst other cryptids and create these weird offsprings of beings. All right, and the crazy part about it is a lot of us are going to start seeing a lot of these beings now. I'm talking about crazy looking beings. And I'm not trying to scare y'all when I say this, but a lot of you are going to start seeing some crazy, bizarre looking beings. Research Plum Island when you get a chance, if you haven't heard of Plum Island. All right. These deletes I'm talking